Hey, everybody, and welcome to Element 20. Today, we are going to be talking about enemies and competitors. And I want to start with reading the prompts that from the workbook, kind of defining and setting the stage for what we're going to talk about. Adversaries, real or imagined. And I think that's really important right here to realize that a lot of the enemies and competitors that we have aren't necessarily real, that we imagine that there's a competition going on, or power inequality, which is the next item, that actually doesn't really exist. Being judged by or against conflicting or unsupporting agendas. So when I did my workbook and wrote out my quick 5 minutes, I think that the majority of these items stem from that unconditional belief in inequalities, which I know we did way back in the beginning, about how we believe, yes, separation, me, not me, but in that separation, that means that you possess different things than I possess. And that creates an opportunity for enemies and competitors. So it's like we really dive into the absolute acceptance of this separation and this reality in this particular element. And we talk about, or we live about believing that there's only so much of certain things, and that there's a competition for it, and that there's a need to compete for getting something over someone else, or that someone's out to get me. And I think one of the things that I've found in looking at this for myself is that that's a place where we really hide a lot of our shadow aspects, because technically your enemy and your competitor is just you. It is just a version of you that you've created in this separation to hide certain things. And when you say someone's an enemy, that brings up a negative connotation. So maybe you hid some shadow elements within the behaviors of that facet of you to allow you to interact with it in a way that you deem safer for yourself. Competitors, I feel, set up a set of circumstances, maybe to push yourself to a different place, or to create circumstances that provide you with the opportunity for growth that you really don't like. So maybe you separated that from close family to put it to someone who you then could view as a competitor and not somebody who you wanted to hold in your close circle. And I, like I said, I really believe that this stems from being that fully vested in this idea of separation. And if we look at that from the forgiveness perspective, that's really what this is about, is coming to that realization that you've created this for yourself for all these opportunities and mirrors, and where are you being your own enemy, and where are you competing against yourself? And I'm seeing it in my head, and it's almost like that convoluted loop. And at some point you've got to stop the madness and say, okay, where do I see this differently to change how this unfolds every time? And I think that for me, if I begin with the initial apology within this forgiveness cycle, it's easy to see how that can change the dynamic of each piece within enemies and competitors, and turn it around to seeing it as its messages to me, for me, about me, and for my growth and benefit. And even if you don't want to look at it as growth, growth, for your expansion, for that expanded perspective. And I think that that's really important, because that not only, I mean, it has that ripple effect through your expansion. And as I've said many times before, as you embrace that forgiveness and allow that cycle to begin to unfold, it overflows and then it comes back to you. So then your enemies and competitors no longer are seen by you as your enemies and competitors. They are seen as just another facet of myself, and don't necessarily have to have that negative connotation that enemies and competitors typically bring about. And when you're looking at things like being judged or against, and I know so many times we've said that judging things is really all about yourself. So that's a perfect place to take a look at that and say, okay, so I'm judging this, so I'm really judging myself. And that makes that easier to turn around and have apology and forgiveness and come full cycle back to the gratitude of, where am I judging myself? And the power inequalities. We're all divine. We're all divine, so there's no inequalities. And when you get triggered or identify someone as having something that you don't have, that's such a clear message, and saying, okay, why am I asking the question, why am I not seeing that within myself? And this is the perfect opportunity for that. And it may be simply the apology triggers that acceptance that you have that within yourself. And that can create such just a warm place to apologize and then accept that you have that within yourself. So there's a lot of different dynamics within this. And I really like the fact that it's within this relationship section of the elements, really sets it up to expand that relationship with yourself and deepen that understanding and embrace all the multifaceted lessons that you're sending to yourself through the enemies and competitors, which, as I said, we always tend to make them negative, which makes me want to say shadow work. So, and again, we do have that course coming up in October, I believe, is when it's released. So that's something to keep in mind, that this will probably be a great foundation, this particular element, when we're working with the shadow side. So let's go ahead and read our clearing statement. I experience and accept all enemies and competitors, past, present, and future, for what they all are and have been in the bigger picture. It is with apology, forgiveness, and love that I have gratitude for the lessons that are now complete in singularity within themselves, all of us, and myself. So go ahead and sit back in your comfortable position. Close your eyes and take your first deep breath. And I invite you to connect into the wholeness. And in stepping through that door into wholeness, open your heart and connect into the vibration of the statement that I just read. And within this vibration, allow that to be where you live your truth. Okay, one more deep breath. Well, that was really interesting. I saw myself at what I didn't realize was like a Halloween party, and all my enemies and competitors were there. And as I went up to each one and offered apology, they took off their masks, like Halloween masks, and they were all me. So that was really incredible, really powerful, um, really nice. Okay, let's see. Post video affirmation. I apologize to forgive, accept, nurture, and have gratitude for the lessons and consciousness created by my enemies and competitors, past, present, and future, that are now complete. That was really, really nice. Um, I hope you got some great insights as well. And thanks for watching. And I look forward to seeing you on our next element. Bye-bye.